Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we're going to be talking, since my last couple videos were about Scream franchise, and I think my next film video that we're going to be doing after this one will be, again, probably about Scream. But I wanted to take a break from that and maybe talk about Halloween today. So, as we know, it's been a little over a year and a half since we had Ends, which, so far there hasn't been any news or updates about any kind of new Halloween movie or any type of information or news about it in general, which we'll probably won't be hearing anything about a new anything for Michael for a while, just because everyone is probably up in arms with this latest trilogy that we got, and we need, some time to kind of let that sink in. So, anyways, I just wanted to give my thoughts on what they could do in the future, which most likely they will, because as long as there's interest in Halloween movies and Michael and whatnot, there will always be a chance of some sort of movie or maybe a TV series, and maybe not necessarily TV series, but maybe go back to the basics and maybe do like a mini series, kind of like how because they still do mini series sometimes, like the big main one that I remember watching that I still love to this day, which it didn't necessarily, even when I was a kid, it didn't even really scare me that much, but it did scare a lot of others and really made them into big horror fans. Like, I'm a big horror fan, but the original It, like from 1990, that was actually a mini series and it was a made for TV movie, so to speak, as we all know that are fans of it and stuff. So, and of course, back then, even, and I'm sure that they could probably do a little bit more nowadays, but back then, and even back then, like, I was like thinking, like, made for TV stuff, like some of this, I'm like, this was made for TV and kids watched it, like, wow. That's just coming from my age, like, wow, there's a lot of stuff when I was a kid. I'm like, this is considered a family movie. There's a couple swear words, whatever. But anyway, and it was like not the first, but one of the first few like made for TV movies, miniseries, whatever you want to call it, that kind of kind of put like a scary / horror movie. It like umped it up a little bit when it came to like what you can put on television and this and that. So it kind of amped it up a little bit. And because with, I could see like people who are scared of clowns, and then also the big fake sharp, I could tell. You could tell that they're fake, but like the sharp teeth, like in his mouth, oh my gosh, combined with that is like scary. And anyway, like they could probably do something like that. Maybe like have 2 little mini movies on a streaming platform and so on, and do something like that. That maybe they kind of they could do that, so then that way it's not necessarily a movie, but it technically is, but it's not necessarily a TV series. It's just what a mini movie series, whatever you want to call it, is called. So anyway, they could do something like that, so then that way they don't have to like necessarily have it be big, but then again, they want it big because they want to get as much money. Like, I'm sure if they do like a mini movie series like they did with it, they won't get as much money. Like, seriously. But if they were to do like a TV series or another movie, then there would be more chance of getting money back. Because with a TV series, and especially if it looks like a good quality series or movie or whatever, then more people would want to stream it or go into the theater to see it, whatever. Like, I think either would be good, because the Halloween series, we haven't gotten, like a Halloween TV series, we haven't gotten that. Like early on with Nightmare, we had a Freddy Krueger TV series early, but in like the late 80s, early 90s or whatever. And then, okay, thank you, motorcycle. Why are you running and playing? Gosh, it's like raining and snowing out there. But anyway, like we had the Freddy Krueger series in like the late 80s, early 90s. And then we also had, oh my gosh, I know that there's another one. I know Scream did it for sure. But that was like mid 2010s to, yeah, that was like mid 2010s or something like that. And you know that, and then there's a couple of other ones. Chucky, yeah, Chucky. They have a TV series now. They're going on what, season 3 now, and so yeah, so you have you have you've had the Nightmare, you have Scream, and you have Chucky. Um, like that's one of the few. Like I'm surprised that Halloween hasn't had one yet, because of the out of all of them, and I don't think that Friday the 13th had one. So that could be another video of having like a Friday the 13th type of series as well. But Halloween, I think, is besides like those are the top three. You got Michael Myers, you got Freddy Krueger, and you got Jason Voorhees. Like those are like if when you think horror slasher, you think of those three. Like you only have one of those three that had a TV series, and that was Freddy Krueger. And so I'm just surprised they haven't had that type of idea. Well, I'm sure that they had ideas, but it was probably just, not. But now that we have streaming and you can get, but then again, I'm kind of worried about that's kind of something I always worried about streaming is that yes, you can stream it and you can, but I know that I'm just worried about how they would get the money, because I know that they get money with the streaming hours and stuff like that, but I know that the streaming hours probably aren't as much as they would with the ticket sales in a movie theater, which is why typically they probably do go the movie route, because they could probably easily get more money out of the movie theater route than they would like streaming, which that's something I always when Netflix, especially like in the early 2000s and was gaining popularity in like the mid 2000s and early 2010s and blah blah blah, I was worried not just for the studio's sake but the actor's sake. Like I was worried that they're not going to get as much money when it came to streaming, because when you stream something like a movie or a TV show, yes, you can have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people stream and watch that movie or watch that TV show, but would it be enough to pay the studio back as well as the actors? Because I want the actors, even though people are like, oh my gosh, they're fine, they're celebrities, they're fine, but that's something I worry about as a consumer. And that's why I try to do my best to, if it's going to be released in theaters, to go one, see in theaters, and two, I'm also a media collector. I like to have physical media. Of course, I will buy digital if I can, but because that's the same thing, because digital is the same thing as physical media. But as long as I buy that movie or that TV show, whether I buy it on physical media or on digital, at least that 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks or whatever amount of money I've spent to buy that movie goes towards the studios and actors. So then not only am I paying for a movie ticket when it comes out in theaters, I'm also buying the movie when it comes out on digital or physical or whatever. So then that way I'm paying for it twice basically. So then that way they can get as much money from it as they can. Because with streaming you pay a one flat fee a month or one flat fee a year, and then you watch it and so on. And I'm sure you could get some money out of it because you're paying a monthly fee or a yearly fee or whatever, and then you're streaming it. And I'm sure it probably all fluctuates out to be about the same, but I just find it a little bit, I guess it's just my old soul. I'm a millennial, so I'm used to going to the movie theaters to see a movie and buying it on physical media as soon as it comes out whatever, and that seems to have made it, like, it's like the whole, if it's not broke, why change it, like, you know what I mean? And so anyways, they could go either way, I'm sure, but I'm sure that it'll get, and that's kind of also what worried me with the whole writer strike, is that maybe the whole streaming thing is kind of catching up to the studios, and that maybe the actors are not getting paid fairly because the streams are not making a lot, or at least not as much as you think. You assume that you're streaming the movie or TV show and that they must make millions. And I'm sure they do, but it just seems like the what you mean, like the services themselves, like the Netflix and the Hulu's and the whatever, are making most of the money and then only giving back a fraction to the studios. That's pretty much what movie theaters do as well. But I work in a movie theater, so, and it just kind of makes sense a little bit, like, and what people don't realize is that with tickets, like ticket sales, like the first week or so, like 80 to 90, maybe 80 to 80, 85% of the ticket sell of your ticket, of your 20 or your 50, 10, 15, $20 ticket will actually go to the, and this is actually common knowledge because that's why they gouge the prices of the food at the concession stand at a movie theater. But like the first week of the sale, like the week of a movie premiering, like 85% of your ticket sale will go to the studio, and then of course the studio will disperse that money and pay the actors, crew, and all that. But then after the movie's been out for like a few weeks, month, whatever, month and a half, then that percentage that is sent to the studio gets less and less and less. And then as it gets less, then that's when more percentage of that movie sales will go to back to the theater itself. Which you'll be like, hey, if that's the case, then why won't they drop it? Because if you just keep the tickets at like $5, then and whatnot, then you have so many people come and see the movie for $5, then that's more people that come in to see the movie, and whatnot, and then you could get more money, so you don't have to raise the price of the ticket of the snacks. That may be true, but you have to understand, though, that there will be slow times when it comes to movie theaters. Because not everyone is going to be coming. You're not going to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people coming to see a movie at all day, like all day. Like if a movie theater opens at like 10:30 in the morning and then have an 11 a.m. showing, that 11 a.m. showing is going to be pretty much empty. Like, if there is anyone in there, it's probably going to only be one person. Wow. We're making a lot of money there. But that's the thing, is that there's going to be slow seasons, slow times, when not a lot of people are going to be going to the movie theaters, because you have to think, during their school year, during the work week, Monday through Friday, during the day, it's going to be dead. No one's going to be, because everyone's at school, everyone's at work. So, of course, that logic, that doesn't work. The only busy time that we will have is, of course, summer. Like, that's where they make a whole heck of a lot of their money. Sure, that's for the kids, because the kids are out of school. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that the parents get to go out of work. Sure, they may take their sick days for vacations and whatnot, and may go to a movie here or there, but at the same time, you have to remember, summer is mainly for the kids to be out of school, not so much because the parents aren't in school. Well, they could probably go to school at night online, but you know what I mean. Like the typical, kid / teenagers are in school during the school year, and then summer's when their vacation time is. And sure, the parents can take some days off and go, but at the same time, and that's when our busy time is. And then, of course, holidays like Christmas, Thanksgiving. Those are also our busy days because typically every single parent or person that are working most likely will have that day off. Not the employees of the movie theater. Let me tell you that. But those are our busy times because they're like, hey, what should we do after we eat a big dinner or after we spend so much time opening presents? Oh my gosh, there's that new movie that we wanted to see. Let's go see it. And so they go to a movie. So typically, summer and holidays, like busy holidays, and of course, July 4th happens to be in summer, so that could be also a busy day for us too. But then again, that collides with summer, so all summer long it'll be busy. But that's what I'm saying is that you could do that, but we do have, like right now, it's February 7th. And so, February, school year, people are at work. So, we're not going to be having hundreds of people coming to the movie theater at a noon show on a, not, if anything, it's going to be like the old people or the people that don't have the Monday through Friday schedule. And even then, you only have a few people, that's probably going, like one person going to this movie here, another person going to this movie here at this time, and then maybe two people at this one at this time. Like you'll be even lucky if you get 5 people in 1 hour. Like you will be lucky if you can get 5 people in any point of the movies in a 1 o'clock hour during the day, Monday through Friday. Sure, it could be the elderly couple that wants to go when there's no one else, and also actually that is a great way if you want to go see a movie. Like if you have a day off, like during the week, like you're not a Monday through Friday schedule, I recommend going during the day, like early morning, early afternoon. You'll pretty much be guaranteed to be like the only one in there, and if not, there'll probably be 1 or 2 other people in there with you. So if you are definitely somebody who likes to not have to share the theater with anyone else or have not that many people, and I know there's a lot of, especially if it's a movie like a Marvel movie or something, or even like a Halloween movie, then you want to go on that same night. Then I would recommend going to a late night movie, like if you're going to go on opening night, like a Friday night, and you don't have to work the next day on Saturday, go to the 10:30 showing, go to the 11 p.m. showing, and there will be less people in there, I'm sure. And then, or just go to like the earliest you can get. Like I'm sure that there'll probably be like a 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. that probably won't have that many people in there because typically people will probably go in at like 6 or 7 or 8. So go to the 4 p.m. show, go to the 5 p.m. show if it's empty, or go to the late night one at like 10:30 or 11 at night. Guarantee there'll probably be some empty. So if you want to have like the opening night. But if you want to wait a day to where it's not so busy and popular, go during the day, during a weekday. And if you want to save some money, so I know here in Utah, at least most of the movie theaters we have here in Utah have a day where it's discounted, like where the tickets are discounted, and it's Tuesday. So we have like $5 Tuesdays. So if you want to save some money, but then you don't want to, and you know it's going to be busy on a Tuesday night because it's $5, don't go necessarily at night. If you get off at 3, see if you can look up some show times like near the end of your shift and see what's open and available if you get off at 3 and you live by a movie theater that does that sort of thing where it's a discount day, then see what the 3:30 looks like. See what the 3:30 showing looks like, or the 4 o'clock. And if it's pretty empty, go then. So then that way you're still saving some money, and then you get to see it. Then that way you're not worried about having a full theater full of people that you don't want to talk to. And I understand with people like wanting to have a barrier, and I understand that because I'm that way too for the most part. But when it comes to like big movies, I'd rather, even though as much as I like to have a bubble, I'd rather sit by somebody and have a good seat. And like, especially if you're particular on where you sit. Like, if you have to be in the back, like the very back row, but there's single seats because people put, and again, I understand. I'm that way. I'm a bigger person, so I like to have that space to like, but at the same time, I'd rather like sit by someone and be like, oh my gosh, how are you like, and I'm not the type of person that will go like that, like, oh my gosh, are you excited for this movie? I'm so excited. And typically I won't say anything unless I, you know, am feeling social at that time, and most of the time I don't. But for the most part, I know that they aren't going to say anything or do anything to me and be like, really, you had to sit here, because we're here to see a movie, and that's like the plain bits of it, is that you're there to see a movie that you're so excited for that it doesn't matter, it shouldn't matter if you sit next to a stranger, if you, and especially if you want that particular seat in the back. And and what I suggest to people, because I will help sell tickets as well at the movie theater, is like, if you are not wanting to sit on the very first row and look up, there it looks like there's two single seats in the back. You could buy those and just see if they can scoot down. More, 9 times out of 10, they would be more than willing to sit down, because they're going to be sitting next to you anyways. Like, they're going to be sitting next to you anyways. So typically they'll be fine with just scooting down one or whatever. And that's what I'm saying, is that you're here to see a movie that you're so super duper excited about. And I'm sorry that this video is getting long and it's not really even about Halloween at this point, but I'm just trying to get my thoughts out there of what could happen. Like, I am good with either, like having a little mini series, TV series, or another movie in general. Like, if they can, because they retconned this like a few times actually, and they done it before, because first with the Halloween series, we all know that they tried to retcon it with Halloween 3, and tried to have it be an anthology where they were going to have each new Halloween movie be a different story, which I think I wouldn't have mind. And if they actually end up doing it, that's a good idea that they can also do with a new Halloween movie. Try to do what they did with Halloween 3 and maybe just retcon it, because some people were like, okay, no, Michael's dead. Spoiler, they put him in a little meat grinder or grinder in the Halloween Ends, if you haven't seen it. Sorry. But now that Michael's dead, they could retcon it and just kind of try to make it a Halloween 3 situation and finally make it into an anthology. And of course, I could see them doing it that route, but at the same time, everyone loves Michael. Michael is like, actually, I think that out of all of them, yes, Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street do have their fans, and I am actually a fan of both of those as well. I love Freddy Krueger and I love Jason. And out of those two, I think I like Freddy a little bit more. No offense to the Friday the 13th fans, I love them. It's just I like, even though technically I think that some of the, and it's agree to agree, and agree to disagree, or agree to agree, whatever. But there's even some fans of the Nightmare on Elm Street series people that actually agree that some of those Nightmare on Elm Streets are kind of bad. Looking at you, Mister. What is it? Number 5? Yeah, I think it's number 5 of that, and then also the remake from 2010. No go for me. I just think that the look of Freddy was just terrible, and CGI was just terrible, and the main girl, Rooney Mara or whatever, she's generally a good actor, I think. But in this movie, no, I was not having it. It was like she was just standing there and saying her lines with like no emotion. And I think that her friend, the blonde chick, was a little over the top. Like, if the blonde chick and the lead, Nancy Thompson, kind of merged, then I think it would have been a perfect balance. So anyway, But Friday the 13th, I enjoyed a little bit more because it seemed to be a little bit more serious in tone at times than, you know, Freddy Krueger. But I just found some of it to be kind of not necessarily ridiculous, but like, oh my gosh, like seriously? No. But anyway, out of all of those three, Halloween has been my favorite. So I just hope that maybe they can also retcon it because they've done it again. Like I said, they did it with Halloween 3, and then they did it again with Halloween H2O, and then they just did it recently with with Halloween 2018. So I'm sure they could probably do it again. But like I said at the beginning of this video, they're probably going to wait a little bit longer before they do that. So maybe, just maybe, they might do maybe a series, like maybe and that's why I'm saying suggesting doing like the little movie series, like a little mini movie TV series, like it, like the first original It, like maybe have a two-parter of like about an hour and 10 minutes each or so. Maybe have it be like not necessarily a prequel or like Rob Zombie's take or anything like that, but like maybe it could be like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the words to describe it. Maybe it could be like a deep dive of his life in between some of the movies or something. Like maybe or maybe like what they could do too is maybe if they're going to, they could probably pick a timeline like from the original to the Halloween 2018. Maybe do like a little mini movie series of his time in prison or something. Especially, at the beginning of Halloween 2018, they had the two podcasters come in and say, "Look at me," with the mask and stuff like that. Maybe they can, like, do, like, a little series of him in prison, for 40 years before he, releases into the, kind of like a prequel to Halloween 2018, I guess you can say, to 2018. So, that could be something. Not that they're going to ever listen to that, but that's what I'm saying is like, this is all whatever. And then maybe they can do, or maybe they could just make a movie of that. Maybe they can make a prequel to 2018, because it seems like the consensus that a lot of people, myself included, I really enjoyed Halloween 2018. I thought it was really good. To me, it kind of felt a lot like the original. Not exactly, but it definitely had the same type of feel, like the whole suspense and the whole, whatever. And I am actually somebody who actually really enjoyed Halloween Kills. I actually really liked it a lot. I loved it the whole time. And I'm kind of on the fence with Halloween Ends. At first, I hated it. But the more and more I'm watching it and the more and more I'm digesting it, it's not as terrible as. It's still kind of bad, but it's still not as terrible as I first thought. Like, and I think I just saw this on like a post somewhere on Google or something where um, that it's not, and sure we didn't get as much with Michael or even Laurie for that matter, but it's could be like it's not just evil like Michael, like just evil in general, and how that evil and kind of was in with Halloween Kills too, like how it's not just one person, like one man being evil, but it's how evil can change someone and maybe change a town, and how it changed Haddonfield, and maybe the evil's not just in Michael, but now it's infested the whole town. And now that I kind of saw and read that, and I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to understand and like Halloween Ends just a little bit more, because I didn't think of it that way. You know what I mean? Like how evil cannot just infest into a person, but a town and the people in that town. And so maybe Michael's evil not just infested Corey Cunningham's character, but like the whole town, to get on each other and to kind of turn against each other. So it's not just Michael now that is the evil, it's Corey, it's the town, the people turning on each other, and it kind of showed in with um the Halloween Kills with the whole Evil Dies Tonight. And at first, I didn't really like that aspect of the whole mom mentality. Evil dies tonight. I'm like, how many times are you going to say evil dies tonight? Like, I can't hear that anymore. But then at the same time, I kind of am enjoying that part a little bit more just because, like I was saying, like, Michael is evil, but then he's kind of feeding these people in this town and the evil. So I just, and I guess I thought of that, but then after reading that, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm liking this a little bit more and more. So maybe, just maybe, the town, and you could tell at the end of the Halloween Ends that the town kind of was relieved a little bit because they kind of felt the evil. Not because Michael was evil and whatnot, but you kind of felt the evilness kind of released from them as well as from Michael. So maybe, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. People can look at it differently, however you want. But I am starting to like Halloween Ends a little bit more. And maybe after listening to that, maybe that can change. No, I'm not saying change your minds, because you can like what you like and you can not like what you don't like. So, but just think of that as you will, and then if you still don't like it, hey, no more to you. But maybe look at it a different perspective, and so on. But I did like the new the first two, so to speak, and then now that I'm kind of thinking on the third one, I'm liking it a little bit more and more and more. So, with all that being said, that's a couple of things that they can do. Is maybe doing like a little mini movie series, TV series, or they could probably revamp and just do what they did with Halloween 3, Halloween H2O, and Halloween 2018. But if they want to go the movie route, and if they want to do a movie per se to get a movie out fast, even though it won't have Michael Myers in it, I bet they would just have to do the whole retcon thing and maybe do like the anthology type of thing, maybe like Halloween 3, or maybe have a prequel of sorts to one of the movies. Like, I'm not saying a prequel to the original, because I think that would be kind of weird, but like maybe do a prequel to one of the sequels, maybe like a prequel to H2O, similar to like I said about the 2018 one. Like, maybe do a prequel of H2O where it's his time in jail for like the 20 years that he was in jail before he escaped to go and find Terry, what's her name in H2O, Carrie or Terry or whatever. Laurie Strode changed her name too as the principal and whatnot. But, or they could do it for the 40-year timeline with Halloween 2018, and just have his kind of like a little mini life of his life in jail for 40 years before he escaped. I don't know. But maybe that could be something that they can do. And with the TV series, maybe it could just be a whole new slate, and they can just retcon it and just have it be the beginning, be where he goes back as a child, kills his older sister Judith, and then maybe near the end is where you get the ending of like the 1978 movie. I don't know, but that's something that the studios can decide, can do it with, whatever. So I hope that you like this video, and I'm so sorry it's long and that I was rambling about this and that and whatever. But I hope that you like these ideas at least, so then that way maybe listening to what I had to say kind of changes your perspective on some of these movies, and or at least the last one that everyone, I'm sure a lot of people are kind of ignoring and not accepting as a Halloween movie, just like a lot of people don't accept the Halloween 3 as a Halloween movie. Because technically, as much as I love Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, I don't want to necessarily, I will call it a Halloween movie because it has Halloween in the title, but a Halloween movie has Michael Myers in it, and which Season of the Witch does not. But if they would have just named it Season of the Witch, I would have loved it and just been like, oh my gosh. But I still watch Season of the Witch like regularly for every Halloween, mainly just because I think it's a good Halloween movie. So anyways, maybe comment down below what you think and what your thoughts are on what they should or shouldn't do, or if they shouldn't do any kind of movie or series or anything like that. Tell me in the comments below what your favorite movies are in the franchise, or if you have any thoughts and ideas about what they should do if you do want to have some more Michael Myers content of any kind in the future from a studio. So, yeah, I hope that you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching.